My name is Saeed Nonoal Bravo, and this past summer I interned at CNN Sports in Atlanta.
My name is Piper Pascarella, and I was a political unit intern at CNN in Washington, D.C. this summer.
I'm Maisie Garrett, and I was WCIA 3's sports intern over the summer.
My name is Mary, and I interned at CBS New York.
My name is Nathan Gonzalez, and I interned at Fox News last summer.
My name is Adeline Moy, and I interned at the Shed Aquarium this past summer.
My name is Kaitlyn Devitt, and last summer I interned at WCIA News in Champaign.
I'm Katie Dalton, and last summer I interned at the NFL. I came into college and it was my dream internship. I saw it pretty much everywhere. I applied to it my sophomore year and didn't end up getting it, so I reapplied my junior year and ended up getting back an interview, which was great. So I went through several rounds of interviews and then I officially got offered the position.
So Wednesday through Friday, I worked pretty closely with the Capitol Hill team. So I would either be in the office logging sound and helping to draft stories, or I would be out on the Hill with Manu Raju, who's the chief congressional correspondent. It was different responsibilities every single day, but I was able to get 4 bylines out of the deal, which was really awesome. I was able to interview Senator Josh Hawley, so there were a lot of different opportunities.
So some of my main responsibilities were just helping producers out day to day. Mostly that was on what they call the dayside shift. So that was 2 to 10 p.m. and that was finding videos of musicians. Like I remember when Sly Stone died, I was responsible for going through every single appearance he had on a CBS show and cutting together like the actual obit, which was crazy. I saw like every aspect of a morning show. I got to work with anchor assistants, like helping out anchors with scripts, editing them as we were on set, and then on top of that, just finding elements and helping producers with whatever they needed. It was a rush and it felt like the Devil Wears Prada sometimes, but it was really fun.
I get matched with a reporter. Right after that news meeting, we're typically sitting down for a minute. If we don't already have an interview scheduled, then we'd sit there, we'd make phone calls, we'd reach out to sources, look up any general information. I'd be writing at least one VOSOT that would then air on the 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. So what I was doing was actually being broadcast to like real people, which was super weird to me to think about.
So I interned at the assignment desk, which going into, I had no idea what an assignment desk was. I love every aspect of my job over the summer, but I think the part that I loved most was going out into the field and being able to produce content. I got to conduct interviews with specifically military personnel. This was around the time of the 250th anniversary of the US Army, so I got to see a little bit of a preview of the tanks that they were showing in the military parade. I got to check out some helicopters. I went to Joint Base Andrews, which is where Air Force One is stationed at.
So I pitched a series called NFL Out of Bounds. It highlighted the players, their mic'd up moments, their press conference moments, just the funny moments that happen around them and the unique moments. And my first video is now sitting at around 220,000 views, and I made another one that's sitting at around 50,000. So it's pretty crazy how much it blew up, but it was a great experience.
At CNN, the biggest thing I learned was the attention to detail that you have to be in a professional newsroom where things are vetted not just 2 times, but several times by several people who are a part of a team who make one show. You'd be surprised by what one banner, how many eyes have to go and look at that banner before that is published or that goes on air.
I learned how to flip things over on a really quick schedule because that's not something I'm super used to. Here in school, we have a week before our shows, so taking a story, flipping it to be put on air in 2 hours from now, that was a really valuable skill that I learned there. From my experience at UI7, I already knew how to edit in Premiere, I knew how to go out and shoot a story, I knew how I had good interview skills, so I was able to take that to WCIA, but then also elevate it because I'm getting feedback from them every single time I'm editing a story or going out and looking for shots to take. So a lot of it was elevating the skills that I've already had here at UI7.
So going into Shed Aquarium, I had already had a lot of experience professionally working with different people and collaborating and having to communicate back and forth between teams and people, keep myself on a deadline, keep myself organized, all of that stuff that I had already been doing in my journalism classes and in my journalism jobs, I would say very effectively prepared me for that internship.
There were so many things that transferred from UI7 newsroom into my internship that they would be explaining things to me and I would be like, oh, it's a VO. And they'd be like, well, I didn't expect you to know that. It clicked a lot quicker than I think it probably would have had I not had those experiences at the University of Illinois. Especially my script writing skills. They had given me the opportunity to write an e-block at one point during my internship, and they were very impressed by the way that I was able to write conversationally in a way that fit TV. And the only reason I knew how to do that is because I had taken classes with Colleen where she taught us how to write for TV. I had worked as a producer for UI7 Newsroom, so I learned the different tricks that made TV writing a lot easier. And when they gave me the shot to do it on a bigger scale, I was able to succeed.
And curriculum-wise, US7 Newsroom, it is literally like you have a job. It's like you're working in an actual professional newsroom. I've gotten to direct, I've gotten to produce, I've gotten to anchor, and all of those experiences, without them, I wouldn't have been able to do these jobs where I'm doing such hands-on production things in New York and DC. So the journalism department has so many options for no matter what kind of journalism you want to go into.
The College of Media does an amazing job of providing so many different opportunities for students here. Everything that I've ever wanted to do that's journalism related, I've had the opportunity to do that. I would say that the biggest thing that I learned from this internship is that journalism as a major is super helpful and applicable to a ton of other different industries just besides journalism. Journalism, it teaches you how to talk to people. It teaches you how to communicate effectively. It teaches you how to be organized and all of that. And I think that even though I necessarily hadn't done anything within the nonprofit realm or within development or fundraising before, I was very easily able to adapt to everything that they threw at me just because I was very used to being flexible and adaptable in my journalism major already.
A lot of the skills that I've learned as a journalist just in a regular news world translate really, really well to sports stories because I'm not just looking at stats lines and I'm not just looking at highlights, I'm looking at an actual story behind those. And a lot of that came from my journalism classes, and a lot of it beyond the classes is my experience at UI7 Newsroom. It's the experiences through the journalism department, the College of Media, and having all of those connections. You're not confined to this newsroom, you're not confined to the Daily Illini. There are so many bigger opportunities for you.
Not even just like inside UI7 Newsroom, but just the news gathering tips that you learn throughout your courses, how to be able to pitch a story, to find a story. If you can do it here in Champaign County, you can do it pretty much anywhere. It gets to a point where you really get comfortable and you learn to trust yourself. This is the place to make mistakes, and I made plenty of them. But that prepared me for when I went to Washington. So I think it's kind of hard to specify what specifically I learned because I learned everything here. And going to DC allowed me to learn even more, but the foundation of everything I know came from this studio.
Really take everything that everyone's saying, learn from everyone. I feel like everyone has something that they can teach you. And that's really what I came into the university with. All the professors are not the same, they're all different, and I took something away from each and every one of them.
My specific advice for students who are looking for internships are to look everywhere, places that you don't even think you could apply.
I think that it's just important to know what you're looking for and what you want to get out of that internship, and not just saying, oh, this is 30 minutes from my home and it would be convenient for me to go there. I think that actually understanding, well, when I walk away from this internship, what do I wish I had known? What am I not learning in my classes? I think that's the most important thing.
A lot of the times, your best experience and where you'll get the most feedback and where you'll have more opportunities to get hands-on work in and grow in your field is in a smaller department. I think don't overlook the unpaid internships. I know it's not ideal, but you'll have time to get another job, but sometimes it's having those connections that you make.
Ask fellow students who have also had internships, because I would assume that at least 80% of them would be more than happy to help out.
I think journalism is just going to keep moving with the demand, but it's always going to be there and it's always going to be necessary.
It's just so special being able to edit something together and just kind of see it right in front of your eyes, like, oh my God, this is not something I was able to build, but this is someone's story. This is someone's experience, and I was able to share that.
You're not tied to a desk, you get to meet new people, you get to be out in the world. That's kind of my biggest reason, but not only that, you get to have a lot of fun in journalism, while at the end of the day, knowing you are making an impact.
One thing that I've learned at the University of Illinois is that there's always going to be a need for people who tell the truth and tell it well. And I've been so lucky to have the opportunity in the Daily Illini, US 7 Newsroom, IPM, to build my skills and meet other talented people who also have the same goal to tell the truth and do it well. And it's just been really amazing to meet other people and realize that this isn't going away. Journalism isn't going away. It's something that's so important and so necessary, especially now.